I just find it really interesting. My own personal life, I kind of always think in how things turn out for a reason. We talked about character, those attributes, those virtues that we have to have in order to be self-reliant. And then Dave went to money. And as I was thinking about what I was going to talk about, I thought, one of the things I really like to get into and talk about, which is, Dave knows money, the economy, how money flows, where it goes, how it's manipulated, how the market isn't really free. And I thought, so I'd go up here and I'd tell everyone about these wonderful going-ons that Dave has alluded to, but in real detail and real depth, and how everything works. And what good would that do, I thought, really? The whole purpose is for me to explain in my own way what the Deseret Republic is all about. And I just love the fact that it started off with character, because I really think that is just absolutely totally key. But also, money is spiritual. And I think Dave hit it right on the head. And as I was thinking about it, I just started writing some ideas on a piece of paper, and I totally took everything that I thought I was going to say about the economy. Because at the beginning I thought, I'm going to prove to everyone why it's so necessary that they act now. Why it's so necessary that if they don't really truly understand the condition that we're truly in, that they're going to be in a lot of hurt in the near future. But that's not what I want to do. And I think Robert is actually, my good friend here, Robert, he's the perfect example of what I wanted to share. And I'll get right to what I'm about to say. I won't embarrass you, I promise, Robert. I won't. Robert is such a great mind. He's one of those individuals, and I really started asking questions right after I started to talk with Albert. And the more I understood, the more questions I had. And then I met Robert at the same time, and so I was kind of bouncing back and forth just to get different viewpoints. And so I didn't want to come up here and just give you my viewpoint, because it might not be accurate, and you might differ from me. And that's not really what the Deseret Republic is all about. But what I was thinking about is, what is the reality that we have today? Well, I know one thing. The reality that is here today, the economy that we have today, is not a real economy. It's fake. It's just that nobody knows it. And I'm not going to tell you what's fake and what's real. I know for myself what's fake and what's real. Problem is, it's really hard to get to someone and say, listen, everything that you see, it's manipulated. It's just propped up. The real economy has not shown its face yet. It's really hard to get through when people still wake up the same way every day and eat the same breakfast and go about their lives, just as if nothing's changed. So, as I was thinking about this, and thinking about the Deseret Republic, and thinking about, so what is self-reliance? And to me it was education. And where I'm getting at with this is, self-reliance is education. Because my own money, all the printed money, all the money that they use to buy up votes, to grab hold of their constituents, to increase the size of government, if you're to take that all away, and I've been thinking about this for a while, that's the solution. It'll all go away, right? The free market would open up. Do you know what would really happen in my mind? Because no one's been educated, the moment you take that money away, people would be hurting so bad, they would run right back to that tyrannical government, because they would not know what to do. The government would, for just a small moment, collapse. And all the bureaucracy collapsed. And all the controls would collapse. And then the people would want it back. That's what would happen. Because they wouldn't know what to do with self-reliance. Because they would not have been educated. And am I the one to teach them everything that they need to know? No. First of all, some things I'm really not interested in. And not that. I have a passion for having others teach what they're the best at. And Robert's a great example for that. When I asked Robert to come today, and he said, well, what is the Deseret Republic about? And I said, in some very clear words, I said, well, it's about self-reliance. It's about, we're not affiliated with any political organization. We don't support political parties. It's about self-reliance. It's about education. And he said, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I said, and I'd love for you to teach, because you taught me in the past when I had all these questions. The Republic would supply you basically with a platform for you to teach whoever you want, whatever you want, and the free market would decide if they liked it. If people really grabbed on what you had to say, they would come. And if they didn't like it, they would not come. So they would choose what they value the most, which is what Dave was talking about. What do you value the most? We'll let people decide. And he said, well, I know, but I have such a different philosophy than anyone else. Because I'm really a libertarian. I really don't believe in the way, a lot of conservatives believe. Great. And he would talk about some things that we don't agree with. I said, fantastic. I don't agree with you, but I would love for you to share that. No, I know, but it's just so different. That's what we need. We need someone that's different than me, than Dave, than Albert, but still has the total concrete of what was talked about earlier in virtues. If you can bring virtuous people together that disagree on issues, but are able to learn from each other, and let the free market decide what is really of value. Because last time we were here, we were talking about those who valued certain things from the valley, and those who valued certain things from the city, and they were different. And I'm from the city, deep, just right there next to the university, and I'm going to be telling everybody about economics and about self-reliance. Yeah, from a perspective of maybe living really close to the university. So that is really not my purpose. So education is key. This I know, and I wrote this down because it's so clear to me. I could tell you all that I know, all that I researched, all that I've read. There's one thing I actually know more than what I have already gained, and that is you know something I don't. I know that more than what I know right now, and I want to learn. Wouldn't it be great if you would be willing to teach me? And I would be willing to teach you if you were also interested. That's how I see the Deseret Republic, literally. The problem that we've always had, and this was mentioned by Albert right at the beginning, application. That's the difficult point, because everybody is living in the fake economy, and you're wanting to teach them, but then you have to put it into application. Because we're not in the true reality right now. We might not have to use these self-reliance principles in the sense of, our family's well-being relies upon it at this very moment. So, the transition between the education and the work, I don't know if I have an answer for that. I bet you someone in here does.